Welcome to Loleventvods. Watch the full game of today's First Stand 2025 matchup.
I was very complimentary of Jinja.
Yeah.
And he did not have a very good game.
You cast or cursed him?
I actually feel bad. I think I did curse him.
I think that was markedly his weakest game of the tournament.
My bad. Yeah, it was not looking great. The solo lanes also, I mean, all around. You know, they decided to invest in the Bank of Shurima, and they needed a bailout at the Dragon Soul. They did not get that bailout.
No, they did not.
Casey just,
the bank went under.
Yeah, Casey stomped him. Okay, so let's see about this one and the adjustments that will be made here. I believe Ezreal is going to be very high prio this time around.
Yeah.
Since the Varus also has been added to permaban status from the previous game, and they have banned the Kalista as well, so.
Okay, so the Ezreal was the third ban in the first half last game from CFO. They banned it away themselves. This time around, they're just going to go ahead and ban out the Ambessa. That leaves the Ezreal open. So they're pretty much saying, hey, KC, if you don't pick Ezreal, we are picking Ezreal.
Yeah, I really think so, because, I mean, especially in the last game, you saw like how big a difference in range, you know, shows up later on into the game in the mid stages and late stage. So for me, my prio on Ezreal is really high here. Also because Ezreal, if you pick it for Doggo, would allow Kai Wing like a roaming, you know, engage support, which he also really excels on. But first pick is a lot to invest in it, so let's see. Nice.
I like it. I like that investment.
Personally, I think that's a good start.
Yeah, I think that especially when you consider, again, this was one of the champions that Doggo piloted in one of their previous wins against KC back on day number 2. He did it amazingly. Yeah. Again, no deaths in that series either game. I think that this is a great start for them to go with. We'll see what KC want to answer with. Remember that once again in the previous game, it was Doggo getting first blood thanks to another gank from Junja that ended up working out in their favor, even though Yike was also there. So we'll see if they keep that prio on the bottom lane up. But the first pick from KC will be the Taliyah for Vladdy in the mid lane.
This, to me, is also a really good kind of fearless steal away and block. Not only do I love Taliyah right now because it pairs really well with a lot of the AD jungles, and pairs pretty well with mobile comps here. If you have Kai'Sa, I mean, your late game strategy, like you have lots of mobility and you have lots of burst potential, but Taliyah also has been something that Honku has gone to almost as much as Azir here, have been the two primary picks. So good little steal away pick there, as Vladdy's going to be able to take away the Taliyah, even though they themselves, you know, banned away the Vi, and you don't have that like guaranteed setup for Seismic Shove. You can use other setups for Seismic Shove, no problem anyway.
Okay, and we're going to see the Nautilus locked in here for CFO. Not only is this going to give you some engage of your own, but it's a great takeaway from an enemy composition that is just locked in the Kai'Sa for Kalist. I always say that the game has one canonical bot lane with Xayah Rakan, but Kai'Sa Nautilus is on like that same level for me. I just feel like I see these two champions paired so much they might as well be married, and now we've got them broken up. This should be able to at least give them some nice engage, some nice front line, and ooh, we're going to get the big man.
And this is one of the biggest things, and looking up this team, Driver puts so many games on Gragas and Sion.
Yeah.
That it's like when it gets locked, some people are like, oh yeah, you know, it's flexible too. You could throw it in the jungle. Not really. It's like a Driver specialty for sure. So I assume it is going to be top again. You know, HLE. It's dangerous to do that against them because Zeus was like, okay, I'll slam a Vlad and I'll get some free scaling. And then the Vlad was a absolute terror that they had to deal with. So let's see what Kana wants to play into the Gragas. Yep. See if Kana can also bring some like giant carry threat here. Look for a nice landing phase into it. But right now, they continue to throw some bans here towards the mid lane. So protecting the Taliyah a little bit, taking away the Victor instead.
Yep, wanting to make sure that they get rid of that. The Ambessa so far is the only topside ban that we have in the draft. We'll see if they want to continue pinching towards some of those counter picks that you were talking about. I don't know if they're particularly scared of Vlad. I don't know if they are scouting Kana for playing Vlad.
Not everybody is Zeus.
Yeah, not everybody's rocking the Vlad these days, but Gnar is a very common pick. I feel like if you're a top laner in Pro League of Legends, you probably play Gnar, so
Kana definitely does. Yep.
Pretty safe to ban that one away.
All right, let's see. What do we follow it up with here? Taliyah doesn't have any like horrendous matchups, but okay, the Tristana. take that one out, the classic as well. Because, I mean, they already do have the Gragas for topside, so you could definitely still run, you know, AD mid and like AP jungle or something like that on the side of CFO. So want to cover the bases there. Take out the other main AD mid. Let's see, are they worried about, you know, like a Vlad pick or something that has been practiced and prepared for it? No, more so Wukong here. Okay, Wukong does work super well with a lot of these dive comps, you know. The Kai'Sa Rel combination, Wukong does very well setting that up. And as we mentioned, you want the AD jungle to pair with your Taliyah, so very reasonable ban as well.
Yeah, the fact that you get to double cast the ulti especially just makes it also that much easier for him to stick onto champions, even like Ezreal, that normally have pretty good self-peel. So I like the ban there. All right, Aatrox is the answer into the Gragas for the top side.
Yeah, another nice lane into it. More standard than the Vladimir here, but also kind of similar blood leeching survivability. You can survive off
blood leech.
Yeah, I mean he eats off the large belly of Gragas, similar to what Vlad does. Yeah, kinda. Yeah.
Takes a chomp out of his belly.
You with me a little bit? All right.
Whoa. Okay, we got Junji on the. Okay, I really do like Kindred and Gragas combined together because of the way that the ultis work. Lamb's Respite creates that zone of immortality, and then the big man just says, get the hell out of the zone.
Exactly. Any enemies trying to partake in our Kindred ultimate will be cleaned off.
Exactly. Aatrox takes a big bite out of Gragas' belly, but then Gragas is still big enough to knock everybody out.
How many circles do you want with your comp, Flowers?
We got a lot of circles here with the Galio locked in too, so anybody that manages to avoid the Gragas knockout then gets hit by the Galio knockup.
So our main takeaway from this draft is going to be Junja has to have a good game. You are running Kindred Galio here. That Galio mid is about setting up this Kindred, so much CC. Your ultimate allows the Kindred to go for deep invades. Your Nautilus has to pair up with your Kindred to go for offensive plays. This is a Junja Doggo dual carry, full send team comp here for CFO. Meanwhile, we get some extra spice here, and it's going to be very, very dive and like global for KC. So KC, as long as they have a decent early game and they can get these outer towers down, this team can make so many picks. They have insane global access here, adding the Pantheon on top of Taliyah and Kai'Sa. Constantly you can make threats on side lane, and so they just have to keep track of each other's globals. Galio ultimate versus the Pantheon, Taliyah, and Kai'Sa here, when everybody's making their calculations for all these side lane picks that they're going to be looking for.
I feel like both of these top laners could end up being magnets for really, really big dog piles from either side because both of them are such good sustained characters. Aatrox through his blood drain magic and Gragas through taking a swig out of the cask. These guys can fight these long extended battles, and then all of a sudden Pantheon's flying in, Galio's flying in, Taliyah's flying in, everybody's ready to back up these big battles, and I hope we get to see that. After last game, I need a 3 kill per minute blood match.
The plays of the game number 1 makes me worried for the CFO side.
Yeah, I feel like it's always better to be the guys deciding the fights when you want them, where you want them, how you want them.
You seem like a full send guy rather than receiving plays.
Oh yeah, I have a rule when I play League of Legends. It's called PvP at level 3. I learned that from Gigabyte Marines back like 6 or 7 years ago or whatever. And I just feel like whenever you're calling the shots, it's just such a higher chance of getting the game that you want to have. And it looks like we do have a little bit of a pause here.
He's ready. He's fired up. He's going to be a playmaker. Okay. I'm actually sold now.
Okay, that did it for you?
That was a good player cam right there.
Dramatic stare down, I like that.
I'm down. They are not going to be waiting around this game. I expect Kindred to be leading here with the Galio, with the Nautilus, create some plays for themselves. You have to be so worried though. We mentioned, with Vibe Band out, you have a lot of other things you can set up Seismic Shove with, and Pantheon is another point and click. It's a little shorter range than a Vi ult, but Honq with some fancy footwork here to get away from Targa, but is going to take several hundred damage to start this lane, which is already gonna be him receiving a lot of rocks in the lane. So
Yeah. And, I mean, it's already, once those rocks were hitting him, minute and 15, you can't go back and heal in time, so.
yeah, that was a really good level 1 opener right there to get a nice health trade for the Taliyah.
All right, well, we'll see how badly it affects his lane, as he did have to...
Potion's gone already.
Yeah, he had to drink an early potion just as the first bunch of minions collide with one another. So we'll just see how everything ends up shaping out there in the mid lane.
Yeah,
down here in bottom side, Kaiwing immediately just dredge lining into Kalist, level 1, drops the ignite on him, forces the barrier out of the KC AD carry.
Kaiwing soaking up a lot of damage. A lot more focus fire there, as Nautilus got weakened so much, they're just going to back off. Level 2 will be acquired once again for the KC bottom lane first. They did a good job last time around. See about that little trade here. Yeah, try and take a bite out of the belly.
Yeah.
See what happens.
You're not going to get one like that. Takes another swig out of the cask. And it's so difficult to trade into Gragas' snappy trading pattern as well because of the fact that his body slam has priority over almost, if not every single other movement ability in the game.
Yeah.
It's just really annoying to deal with as a melee character.
I kind of like this. Yike coming in.
Honkyu's down to 200 HP. Justice punch backwards, but Vladdy ends up forcing the flash at a Honkyu. There's the consequence of that early extra damage.
Junja should know, though, because the ward did see the invade coming, and obviously the bottom lane walking away is going to be a full giveaway, but I do kind of like that, taking away at least the red buff from a Kindred. You know, we talk about, can the Kindred will go for offensive plays with...
Oh, Yike's gonna get the first blood right here, surely. Just needs one more hit to do it. Beautifully done. KC on the board.
All over this game. You know, the early game plan for the Kindred here is fully set behind.
Oh, Kaiwing wanting to scrap down here in the 2v2 yet again, but he's got to be careful about all the damage he's taken. Targamas down below 100. But calm, cool, and collected, not spending a flash or anything like that. Knows there's no more damage here to supply the kill. Junja not there in time to really contribute a whole lot to this, as Vladdy will move down through the river, but again, it's another nice dredge line coming out from Kaiwing. He's got to try to get away, flashes back out of the range of the crash down. Junja's got to escape now because Yike and Vladdy are also ready to join the fight. Yike still moving forward, no flash available on that Pantheon. Already used it earlier to get the first blood, but it's KC just looking better in these early scraps.
Yeah, Yike once again making some really good choices in this game after sealing away the red. Following up on all of this pressure they've thrown to the Galio, you know, it's been like several steps of KC aggression that got them to the point that they were able to get first blood on him.
Oh!
That was sick.
Yeah, that was a really good attempt from Kaiwing and a really good response from Kalist.
Yeah, Kaiwing's so good at these engages, but all he gets is the flash out. We'll see if they are able to end up following up on the flashless Kaisa and make a play there. But again, it has to be the Nautilus and the Galio to create a lot of these plays here for CFO. So I would say with mid lane already taken advantage of and KC kind of striking first there with the level 1 invade, with the follow-up gank to get the first blood, might be some more visits here with the Nautilus in store for Junja.
It is a nice early gold lead here for KC. Obviously, the most of that is for Yike, who did manage to get the first blood for himself on this Pantheon. Honkyu sidestepping away from that seismic shove there. And I really just want to go back because we talk a lot about how League of Legends is a game where the smallest things can snowball into something much larger. And we really saw that happen in mid lane early this game. The early chunks that happen onto Honkyu that take him low, the fact that that means that then he gets forced out, he has to lose his flash early, then his jungler gets invaded, he loses the red, now Yike is up in tempo, now he can return to mid and kill Honkyu. It was just this snowball of destruction from an early couple of rocks.
And I would say continue to throw pressure there. I mean, the Galio still is not going to have the flash for a quite substantial amount of time. And Pantheon can constantly threat here with the point and click stun. The setup is very good, and Pantheon has a very good exit strategy for so many of these skirmishes. But currently, CFO into the Dragon, they leashed it. The Hextech Dragon is very annoying to get away from. They have to be careful. They're going to get collapsed on right here. This is not a good spot for CFO.
This is really dicey. Kaiwing has no flash. Remember, CFO, they want to try to fight this as Galio makes a heroic entrance, but it doesn't even hit anybody on KC's side. Now CFO is trapped inside the pit. The Dragon's got about 2,000 health remaining. It's aggroed over the KC players for now. Junja dropping down. The Wolf right there has to flash back away from some of the incoming damage. Hongq goes into the middle of everybody, but Targamas isn't dead just yet, and Hongq's going to be first to die. The Dragon is low. It is going to be claimed by the side of CFO, but they just lost so many men. There's no way it's worth it. 4-0 game for KC.
KC shooting oysters in a barrel, Flowers.
Yes, sir.
They're all grouped up in the back of the Dragon pit. And honestly, from the perspective of CFO, Hongq is the only one who wants to make the play for an escape. Hongq is ready to try and fight his way out, but they don't go when the Galio moves up. The rest of them stay towards the back of the pit. So Hongq's like, yo, let's go for it, walk up. But Kaiwing's not there to follow up with the hook, so it's just Hongq trying to deal with Targa himself, and he loses because KC, all with the semicircle of DPS around him, just way better coordination from KC there. On the Dragon, they get the objective, they get the kills. KC are stomping.
They wrecked him, man, but I gotta say, CFO just looks rattled from that first game, I guess. I don't know, like that Dragon Force felt crazy.
Yeah.
KC was ready and waiting like hungry wolves just to pounce on him.
Hongq's the only one locked in, I feel like.
This is a little bit of a rough look from CFO, but honestly, good job from KC. They're the ones locked in. They're the ones making the punishes. They're the ones not allowing CFO to make these poor decisions and get away with it. And now it's just going to be even more money in the pockets of the carry down here in bottom lane. Kalist going to get that little bit of extra damage from the minions to secure the plate. Driver's going to be the one to come and answer him. But Kalist is almost up to a 1,000 individual gold lead over Doggo, who was like the star of the show in these two teams' first series.
So if we go back to the sending and receiving plays, KC, they can send a lot of them after the success they just had. Let's take a look. They're going to do just that. Kaisa was walking up.
Okay, Kaiwing wanted to go for a dredge line there, but it hit one of the little void mites. Kalist versus Driver, and Kalist is unafraid of dealing with this solo laner that's 2 levels above him. As CFO continues hanging around the grub pit. They've already secured one of the little grubs, but that's it. Seismic Shove does not hit a target. Kalist again looking for the battle. Beautiful job there with the killer instinct, getting away from the explosive cask. Driver slows Kalist down enough to survive. But again, level 6 versus level 8. The Kaisa comes out on top.
Yeah, Kalist also can take a bite out of the belly. Looks like Doggo's going to fire off the ulti down bottom, try and help with, the wave's not even there anymore, so that Ezreal just kind of whiffed. Regardless, though, up on this top side, they're still fighting over the last one.
Okay.
Yike has Smite available, but it's an unupgraded Smite.
Okay, so there it is. Actually, all 3 grubs go the way of CFO. That's the first thing this game that has really gone their way. They played that very patiently. They played it very slowly. They didn't want to overcommit or fully back off, and they managed to navigate it in a way that resulted in a much-needed success, considering Kobe, they're down 2,000 gold, not even 10 minutes in.
Yeah, good patience there from CFO on it. Yike was just 1 camp away from trying to upgrade his Smite there, and Junja able to get them all. Let's see, that is Dragon to them. So let's see what the objective focus. Can CFO make it worth it? Because the gold after that Dragon fight and grouping everybody up there inside the Dragon pit, gold definitely will determine a lot here for the next couple of stages.
All right, Junja just got to farm up, get some more marks, get himself to the point where this Kindred can be more relevant. 0, 1, and 0 compared to the 1, 0, and 2 of Yike. Again, just talking about the difference in junglers between the first series and now. Beautifully done by Driver there. Knocks Kalist back underneath the turret. Also destroying all of the minions in the process with the AoE, forcing the flash into the KC AD.
Driver gets a little revenge there.
Yeah.
Big cooldown in the summoner spell. Yeah, even though the previous play we saw was much more ego win for Kalist as he was able to force Driver out. Much more material victory here in the longer cooldown W for Driver. But interesting how this time around it is KC with the gold advantage, but CFO with the objectives advantage. Bit of a reverse from the previous setup.
Well, we've got, 15 seconds before our next Drake spawns. The first one was an absolute tragedy for CFO, even though they got it. We'll see what the second looks like as Driver has found himself caught out of position. It's exactly what we said in the draft, Kobe. There's so much power for KC to just bring the whole squad in and instantly make anybody caught out of position a dead man.
Yeah, your side lanes are always in danger, and this isn't even, we were kind of looking towards when the outer towers are down. Oh, you're gonna be so scared. Outer towers are still up, and Dragon is up, so with objective on this side of the map, KC decide to make one of their full send plays. Multiple ults invested in order to get the kill. Plus, you're going to basically trade turret plate money because they got turret plate money on the bottom side. Teleport here. It takes a long time in the early game to actually travel down there. So Kalist has his eyes open. He just walks away once he sees it. Is going to delay him. He won't go for a recall now since it was interrupted, but they got the Dragon here, so KC with their first Dragon for themselves in the Chem Tech. In addition to killing Driver last time, they want another piece of that Gragas flowers.
And he's just hanging around farming more plates. He has to know he's just dead here. Surely wants to flash for it, but no, it is not gonna matter. Just feels like a wasted summoner spell. They slow him down, they beat him down, a little bit more damage is all they need, and the spear finds the big man. Yike gets number 2.
So we were correct about taking Chomps out of the Gragas belly, but incorrect as to who particularly was going to do the chomping.
Yep, Aatrox is a vegetarian this game.
It's been everybody besides the Aatrox.
Yeah.
getting a piece.
Everybody else is hungry as Kaiwing and Doggo, yeah, it's not like they're any real threat against Kana up here. He's happy to just sit, spam spells, clear the wave. First items completed kind of across the board here on the side of KC with the Kraken Slayer for Kalist. You've got the Archangel Staff nearly evolved into the Seraphs for Vladdy, and then the Double Sundered Skies. These guys are in a great spot. There's no fully completed items on CFO at all.
Yeah, Kalist is fairly rich. The last time I saw him get like real rich in the early game, he ended up 17 kills on a Jhin.
Yeah.
So let's see the high water mark. Can he reach it again? Because their full dive comp is set up to make tons of picks across the map and allow the Kai'Sa to fly in with the Killer Instinct and get so many more. First of all, secure the grubs for themselves, and then rotate someone down to the bottom side. Looks like CFO are gonna get there fairly early. Looks like Targa will be the first one heading down, and they're gonna try and slip Kalist in there in a little bit of a trailing play. Does Yike have ultimate? Yike has, looks like that cooldown's coming up.
Not quite there.
The shadow wasn't quite there.
Yeah.
If Yike's ultimate was fully available, I feel like it would be another huge play.
Well,
Okay,
there it is. Now it's ready to go. Kaiwing's in some danger for the grand entrance over the top. There's the Lamb's Respite to try to keep everybody alive. The turret's still not dead yet. Yike is taken low, but Junja's on the run and he's first to die. It's 2 dead bodies in CFO jerseys. It's KC wanting even more. Kaiwing runs all the way away. The spear misses, so now they turn their attention over onto Doggo. He's still got plenty of health. He shifts back towards his own tier 2 turret. And KC, again, this is an 8-0 game. CFO just have no response.
I mean, Vladdy's gonna take a visit here.
Immediately blast Driver for about half his HP. Wants to keep chasing, flashes forward past the explosive cast. Driver just trying to use the fancy feet, but I don't see any way out, man. This is gonna be a 9-0 game.
Even Talia can bite.
Even Talia, she turned him into a popsicle.
Oh man, everybody just getting a piece of Driver in this game. And honestly, it's kind of crazy with the first series being 2-0 for CFO. Like, this one doesn't look particularly close. We were just squinting and looking at the cooldown on Yike's ultimate. It feels like he was just mashing it as it came up. And they got another one of those repeat plays on bottom side with the double semi-globals, and they even brought Kana this time around because they felt bad he hadn't gotten to participate. So Kana got to get in there with the World Ender, and Vladdy says, you know what? I'm just going to flash for this ultimate and finish you off. One more Gragas kill for the side of KC.
Man, KC is just making CFO look foolish today. These semifinals, these first best of fives that we're getting to see in Fearless mode. Kobe, at this pace, we are not seeing a fifth game.
I would definitely wager that we don't. Yeah, I think that would be a safe bet. KC running the map right now, and it also gets worse from this point for CFO.
Yeah, it sure doesn't get better.
It definitely does not get better. All right, let's see about it though here. Level 11 for Kalist on this Kaisa, who is the early gold winner and is still the one with the largest gold difference here.
Oh, Target with the flash over the wall, immediately follows it up with a crash down Magnet Storm. More help, another Weaver's Wall. Kaiwing low, but he stays alive. Reinforced by Hong Q. CFO's bottom lane duo barely holds on with 100 HP each, but now the Herald's been summoned up. Now the tier 1 turret's gonna be forced down. Now the gold lead is 6,000, 17 minutes into the game.
Well, that's gonna be another dragon for KC. Honestly, playing with their food at the moment. Driver here has been the food.
Yep, and it looks like he's about to be another heaping helping. The Ignite's still ticking. He does manage to eat one honey fruit to live through it. But that's about the best CFO can ask for right now.
Yep, an escape with his life. Yike throwing up the Amumu tears. I mean, the tournament started with tears for Yike, but now it is ending with, I mean, a rocket to the moon. He has just
tears of sadness, tears of joy.
Yep, tears of joy, there you go. He has been exceptional. Definitely big stuff for him. Nice to see him kind of weather the storm of the early criticism leveled in this tournament. And KC overall, very nice stuff. I mean, especially with the young players, with Kalist and Vladdy here on the international stage, showing up very nicely, getting some much needed international experience here.
And I was talking to Vedius yesterday, or 2 days ago, excuse me, when I was casting with him, and he was talking about how for Kalist and Vladdy, they've said before how they want to go to internationals, they want to play against the best of the best. Even if they get clobbered, they want that experience. They want to know what it's like to play against these best players in the world. And so far, CFO has been crushing everybody except for HLE at this tournament, and now KC's bouncing back and crushing CFO. I think that experience is doing them pretty good, Coach.
Yeah, and plus your reward for winning this is more experience. You get finals position.
CFO, they wanted to make the move, but KC was ready for the reaction, and now Hongkyu's the target. Everybody in KC has arrived to the party, and they don't want just one. Junja's in some danger now as the Unraveled Earth makes it hard to get away. Junja wants to escape over the wall, but yike! With another spike from downtown.
It's a hit. Yike, don't miss those. Okay, Targa.
Targames just setting up another one. That doggo ain't going to heaven, and Kalist is dominating.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry.
It's true, though. That doggo's going to the fountain flowers.
Yup, that's a black and white screen for the next 20 seconds. That is another turret for KC. Let's take another look at how they found another play.
Yeah, you know, Hongyu just wanted to go for the flash play. They could feel this game is quickly running away from them. So went for the flash play attempt, but Vladdy doesn't let him have it, and then they just punish on the way out. Nowhere for CFO to go. They're just, at that point, they're so spread out. It was a swing and a miss, and KC punished them very heavily for it, because then they also find a dog walking through the park here, aimlessly through the jungle, and that is no longer your territory. That is now KC territory.
They have claimed that fire hydrant, my friend. This is nothing for CFO on the Rift anymore. We are 20 minutes into the game, and we are at the point where CFO now needs KC to throw. But the problem is we're also at the point where Otacon's on the board. And there is nobody on CFO that can get anywhere even close to this thing. Kalist and Yike can just two-man it so easily.
Yeah, and critically, this Otacon will give you permanent power in the flowers, extra experience, and a lot of adaptive force here for them, rather than we saw in the previous game. I think one of the calls that CFO actually did really well was when they gave up the red Otacon for the temporary buff into the hands of KC in exchange for a tower gold that they could use and would be permanent. But and then they timed out that buff. But this one, nothing you could do about it. Those flower buffs will be permanent for KC. Even more damage now will be coming your way. KC rule the map. All that's left really is for them to continue to look for picks and destroy the control that CFO even have over their own secondary towers here. CFO now is at the point where you just have to group everyone up and overload one side of the map again. Try and make the big play to pick off like Connor or something in a side lane. Yes, you know that a Talia a wall and a Kalist ultimate are going to come flying through and you don't have a lot of time to work with, but oh no,
oh boy, here he goes again. Don't think he's going to be driving too much further. Does manage to flash away from the Shattering Strike. Targamas with the remount, flashing forward. Wants just a little bit more here. Oh, the Magnet Storm, not quite what he wanted. Doesn't matter. Yike comes crashing down and guarantees it. Vladdy will take the kill on that one. 13-0 now in this second game. Oh, make it 14. Nice shove from Vladdy. Kalist, godlike 7-0-4 on the Kaisa.
All right, will we continue to count here? Looks like everybody else will back off. Just going to be, I would assume, the tower into Dragon here for KC because they have the luxury of anywhere on the map they want to go. Oh, interesting. So the Scuttle Crab marks are still spawning here. That just goes to show how few marks Junja's been able to get in this game. He has 2. Which is another sad point, but there you go. 3.
Okay,
there we go.
All right, one more, and he hits the mark power spike.
Love it.
And they're down 10,000 gold, 23 minutes in. So I'm not gonna lie, I don't think it's gonna make a ton of a difference here.
No.
However, CFO has to just take anything they can get right now.
And we have to even start thinking about the next games for CFO. In a best of 5 here, you don't want to let the first 2 really crush your mental. You have to try and regroup for the rest of the series here. Yes, it's gonna be must win from here on out for CFO, but oh man, driver.
Again, man. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Body slams away for that first shove, but no, I don't think he's getting away, man. They brought everybody yet again. The cast just ends up knocking Kana and Yike forward. Junja does get enough distance to escape the Pantheon in time, so he's not gonna be a follow-up kill himself. We still don't even have Baron on the map for another minute and a half for KC to move over and try to take. Junja hit by the Q2 over the wall there from Kana. Kana's having the top lane experience this game. 0-0-2, the game's won. He's showing up, having a little bit of fun himself now. But man, KC just putting on a show here in this second game. The first one was so impressive. It was so slow for such a long time. They have one big explosive fight, they win it, and they just snowball that into a victory. Here in this second game, just from pre-minion spawning all the way back to chunking Hong Q right before the minions are about to collide in the mid lane, it's just been KC from the very start.
Yeah, I think CFO, they have to just pick some winning lanes and a proactive jungler for Junja, and completely change the script in the next game. You cannot afford to play without proactive plays. You have to get some priority for yourself somewhere on the map, and you have to start forcing some stuff in the next game. Because KC right now, they're just running the map. Let's see.
15-0 in kills, 6-1 in turrets. They got the Otacon, they got the Herald. The Grubs ended up getting split even. Just about the only objective that CFO has managed to claim for themselves. The gold difference powered by AWS. Just a massive ocean of red as Kana finds himself caught out a little bit here on the bottom side of the river. Does get knocked back by the explosive cast. Kana will drop, and finally CFO's on the board. Yike wants to get one back there on Junja as Vladdy shows up from behind. Kalist goes legendary as Junja dies, and now another kill comes through for the side of KC. Make it a triple for Kalist. Is it a quadra for Kalist? No, Vladdy shuts down the potential of a pentakill there, but that does not matter. KC got what they needed, and they can march their way over to Baron.
All right, Doggo. Here you go. It's Doggo in a dream. He's got a mystic shot.
That dream might turn into a nightmare, my friend. Vladdy jumps right off the Weaver's wall, and he wants more damage onto that Doggo, but there's the Shattering Strike. The ace for KC.
The ace, the Baron, the Scuttle Crab. The full trifecta flowers.
Everything. The three most important things in League of Legends.
Definitely true. KC here, they have to be riding so high on the momentum they've built in this series. With this Baron buff, you have to believe it'll be a quick reset into pushing very deep. And, well,
Junjup knocked right back into the rock field, knocked right back into the spawn platform.
okay. CFO, they did manage to get a kill in this game, though, Flowers.
Yes, Doggo is on the board.
That is something.
That is about all they got.
It is crazy, though, because I still want CFO to be proud of what they were able to accomplish in this tournament, even just in the beginning of it, you know. Had some impressive stuff, so I hope this does not take away too much from what they have been able to accomplish. And of course, like we said, this series is a full best of 5. This is not over. This is a stomp, but it does not mean the rest of the series has to be this way.
Exactly. You can still bounce back. You can still keep going. You can still fight your heart out for the next 3 games and win the thing. But KC has shown this is not day 2. This is not the team that they played a few days ago back at the start of First Stand. This is a squad that has evolved in such an insane way throughout this past week of competition, showing up and looking completely lost, completely disjointed, and then just leveling up day after day after day to the point where we're at right now, where they're about to be 1 game away. I can't even finish this sentence praising them before they get another kill because they're so far ahead. They're up 15,000 gold, and they're about to be 1 game away from making the finals.
Incredible stuff here with the young players. Actually, 0 deaths on either Vladdy or Kalist. 18 and 19 years old on the international stage, looking to end it. Vladdy was the one that got the seismic shove on the last driver kill, the most recent one of many, and that's going to be KC.
That's all it takes. Targum is jumping into the back line with the Magnet Storm for the initiation. It's time to pad those stats. There's nothing else to it. CFO falls back onto the steps of the fountain as KC pushes forward to the enemy nexus. A double kill for Yike to round it out, and that'll be KC moving to match point.
Huge stuff for KC there, and it has got to be crunch time now for CFO to turn it all around.